Hi there, Melissa here, and I'm back with another video for Clique kits, and this one is made with the July kit, which is called Rascog, and it features Printfresh Studios' Life Noted collection. So for this one, this is actually up on the Clique Kits blog, and the title of my blog post is When Less is More. And I've been making probably quite detailed layouts lately, but for this one I wanted to focus on this exclusive cut file, and also I wanted to focus on the beautiful sequin mix that we got from Spiegelman Scraps, which is exclusive to the kit, and she mixed it especially. So here I'm doing something that you've probably seen me and thousands of people do. I'm just backing this cut file, and so in retrospect I really should have got my silhouette to cut these letters out, especially the S. It was really fiddly, and so I traced around it, used my scissors, used my X-Acto knife, which is a bit blunt, which really isn't helping the situation, and I got it as good as I could get it. And then what I do later on is I just glue it down and trim it out later once it's dry. So I wanted to back these letters with some of the exclusive printables, and there were some solids in there which I loved, and I think solids always back a patterned cut file really well, which is what we've got here. And so I'm using my Tombow, and I went over all the little bits. This one's quite detailed. I just wanted to make sure I totally covered it, and then I'll be sticking it down. So sorry, I'm a bit off camera there, which isn't the best. If you've been wondering where I've been or how I've been, because I've been quite sick, I'm feeling a bit better. I'm 19 weeks pregnant now, and still not that well. Possibly could be as well as I'm going to get now. But luckily my scrappy mojo is back, so I've, whilst I haven't been making many videos, I have been really busy. There's a craft show, the National Craft Show in New Zealand, and some of my work's in there, so I've been working really hard on that, which is really exciting for me. So I wanted to use the printable for the M, but I couldn't find a piece that was big enough. And then I remembered that we had this, I think it's basil embossing paper, or it's more like a plastic, and it's for dry embossing, and I'll show you that later as well. So I just thought it would work really well just to back the M, and I love the colour of it. It's really bright yellow and really summery. And now I'm wanting to make sequin shaker pockets, and so I got some packaging, and I think it was at LE Studio, just, you know, what the bits come in. I just cut it apart, and so I'm using my Tombow just on the open letters, which is the U and the M, and I'm just gluing the plastic onto that letter. Now, when I did this, I didn't know if it would work or not. You know, you get a vision in your mind, and it's not until you actually do it and you realise whether it works or not. Now, this process was extremely, extremely fiddly. I hope that's the word you guys use, which means it took a lot of faffing around, and it was just quite difficult. And so once that was glued on, then I got the sequins and just placed them on the plastic. And I found it really hard because there was a lot of static caused from the plastic. And I've sped this bit up because I wanted to show you all of it for the M. So I just focused on the yellow and the blue. I didn't want to use the darker sequins. And I found that my fingers it was just too difficult to get them down. So I've used my pencil, and then I used my craft knife, and that way I could have gotten very frustrated quite quickly here. So yeah, I'm only going to show you the M because the U is pretty much the same. So I fit as many on as possible. Now, the finished product doesn't shake, but it gives the illusion of a shaker pocket. So in other words, because I don't have any dimensional adhesive between my two layers of plastic, it's flat, and so it really just encloses it like a pocket, or more like probably like an envelope, flat. So then I just added Tombow on here again, and this was the bit where I was a bit nervous, I guess, because I really should have my Tombow in fine line bottle. So I just gently pressed down And here you can see it finished. Really happy with how it turned out. I did find, like, I left it for quite a long time. I think I made this layout over 2 days, and I found that the bits of like nearly dry Tombow that were white, if I just used my fingernail and pushed them to the side, you couldn't see them in the end. So it's not perfect, but it was an experiment and it's handmade, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So this layout ends up being incredibly simple because most of the work, pretty much all of the work, went into creating my title. And so I needed something to ground my layout. So I've just put the darker strips of that blue pretty paper at the top and the lighter one, which I cut a bit thicker at the bottom. And I did consider stitching them, but in the end I've just left them. And I think, as you'll see in this, when I come to embellishment, less really is more. And what I wanted was a central design, so which I've put that photo of my girls in the middle, and then I've lined up this title, and I'm putting that in the middle as well. So there I've left a little bit of plastic on. I didn't realise I had to cut that off. And I'm just making sure that is positioned in the middle. Now I wasn't sure about the R because it's very stark in comparison to the rest, and I considered hand stitching around the entire title on the border, but I thought, no, there's so much glue on there that I think it would just be too difficult. And I really didn't want to ruin this because it did take me so long. So in the end I've just left the R just white, and that background paper is slightly off-white, and in real life you can see that it says summer. I don't think anyone's going to look through my albums, or I should say my massive pile of layouts that is accumulating because I'm too lazy to put them away. But no one's going to look through and go, oh, you know, what's wrong with the R? So here I did a little test on how to adhere this embossed plastic, and double-sided tape works well. And what I showed you before was that I just used a Cuttlebug embossing folder with flowers on it and just put it through my Big Shot. And it's a really awesome product. I hope, yeah, I'd love to use some of this again, because I think dry embossing is something that we forget about often, and it'd be awesome if it made a comeback. And it's nice to have a different texture on your page. So here I'm just adhering my photograph. I did consider backing it in pattern paper, but you know, once again, less is more, and I just did a white border. So I wanted to call this Summer Darlings or Summer Beauties, but when I got these Pink Fresh alphas out, I found that the yellow was really not working with the yellow on that embossing plastic. So then I considered using this documented with the heart that I'd cut off that blue paper, but as you see when I put it down, it dominates. The red is just too much, and you know, less is more, and I felt this was too much. So here I could have cut this out, but I wanted to show you my thought process of how I embellished or didn't embellish, in this case, my layout. So I've got the exclusive cut aparts, I've got those epoxy stickers which are an add-on that you can get in the Clique Kit store. I had an exclusive 3x4 card. I thought about using the word photograph, so it'd be a summer photograph. I've got these rubber charms that come in the kit, and I did like how that one looked at the top there next to my little one's head, but in the end it's just all too much. And so then I remembered that we had a full pack of these acetate words, and they are amazing. So I just went through them and tried to work out which one really went with, obviously with the word summer, and also with the colours. And I thought about that green one there. Summer Story would be a good title, but and you'll see that I play around with it. But it's really not telling the story of a photo. I mean, it's summer, but it's not really, I don't know. It didn't feel right to me, and the green was slightly wrong. So I also considered using that exclusive flare, and then we got 2 of these paper clips, and I've used one already, and thought this green would work really well with the story word. But it lifted my photo too much because this layout is really flat. And I even thought about tucking one of the cutter parts under there, but I just can't make it work, so I've left it. So here I'm just still fussing around the word story, and decided to put that, I can't remember what it says, but that little pink cutter part at the top, going with my central design, and I think it helps draw the eye down through the photo and then onto my title. So then I found the word hooray in blue, and I think that looks a lot better than story. So here I'm just making sure it's central, because that's the whole point of this layout. And I've been adhering all of these with stitching. I love the texture, and I love the fact I don't have to deal with adhesive. So I just pull my threads through, washi tape them down, carefully remove the washi tape. I'd be devastated if it pulled up some of the paper. And then my camera died, but I just added the journaling, really simple, and just talking about the two girls enjoying their time. So thank you so much for watching, and I will be back again soon.